In a lush green forest full of towering trees and colorful flowers, many animals lived together in harmony. The forest was peaceful and beautiful, but life was not always easy. Among the animals, there was one who was known for his wisdom, Oliver the owl. He lived high in a great oak tree, observing everything that happened below with his sharp eyes. Oliver was always ready to help his fellow animals and often gave advice about how to prepare for the challenges of life. He knew that even in the most beautiful and peaceful of places, trouble could come without warning. However, not all the animals shared Oliver's wisdom. Johnny, the young rabbit, loved to play in the meadow, hopping around and chasing butterflies. He would sometimes work hard to dig burrows for his family, but when the work was done, he would spend the rest of his time basking in the sun, completely forgetting about preparing for the cold winter months ahead. Bella, the big bear, was a gentle giant. She spent most of her time resting in her cave, often hibernating through the fall and winter. Bella knew that winter was coming, but she liked to sleep through the fall, thinking she could always gather food when the time came. After all, she had lived many years in the forest and had always been able to find food in the past. Why worry now? Max the squirrel was very energetic, but he wasn't focused. Max loved playing with his friends, chasing his tail and doing acrobatic flips from tree to tree. While his friends were collecting food, Max was jumping from one adventure to the next, thinking that there would always be plenty of food and acorns to go around. Why spend time preparing when life was so fun? One crisp autumn day, a great storm began to brew in the distance. The sky turned dark and the wind picked up. The animals in the forest grew uneasy. Oliver the owl, perched high on his oak tree, could sense the change in the air. He had already prepared for the storm. His nest was safe, and he had stocked up on food to survive any tough days ahead. But when he looked below, he saw his friends, Johnny, Bella, and Max, enjoying the last days of warm weather without a care in the world. As the storm grew closer, Oliver decided to warn them. He flew down to the clearing where the animals were gathered. "Listen, my friends," he called out. "A great storm is coming, and you need to prepare. It will bring strong winds, heavy rain, and possibly even floods. Have you gathered food for the winter? Have you made sure you have a safe place to stay?" Johnny the rabbit looked up at him and said, "Oh, don't worry, Oliver. I'll be fine. I still have plenty of time to gather food, and the storm will probably pass quickly. I'm just going to enjoy the last bit of sunshine before winter." Bella the bear stretched lazily in the warm sun. "I've been through storms before," she said. "I'll hibernate soon, and I always find enough food. There's no need to panic." Max the squirrel jumped from branch to branch, excited by the coming storm. "I'll be okay. I'll gather acorns tomorrow. Right now, I just want to play with my friends." Oliver looked at them with concern. "You may not realize it now, but the storm is much stronger than you think. You've all been enjoying the warmth of the sun, but winter is just around the corner. If you don't prepare, you may not survive." But Johnny, Bella, and Max just laughed and shrugged off Oliver's warnings. They thought he was overreacting. But Johnny, Bella, and Max just laughed and shrugged off Oliver's warnings. They thought he was overreacting. The storm arrived that night. The wind howled through the trees and the rain fell in torrents. Lightning flashed across the sky and thunder rumbled loudly. The animals huddled in their homes, but it wasn't long before they realized they had underestimated the storm. Johnny's burrow, which he had thought was safe, started to flood. The rain seeped in, and Johnny quickly realized he hadn't gathered enough food for the coming days. He had nothing to eat, and his shelter was quickly becoming uninhabitable. Bella's cave, where she had planned to hibernate, was also no longer safe. The heavy rain caused the river nearby to overflow, and water began to pour into her cave. Bella had not collected enough food for the winter, and she found herself hungry and trapped inside her cave. Max, who had been playing with his friends all summer, had no acorns or food stored away. His tree was swaying dangerously in the wind, and his usual hiding spots for food were washed away by the storm. He couldn't find any shelter from the storm and began to panic. Oliver, watching from his dry and well-prepared nest, felt a pang of sadness for his friends. He had tried to warn them, but they hadn't listened. As the storm raged on, he decided he couldn't simply stand by while his friends were in danger. Though he was small, his heart was big, and he believed in helping those in need. As the first light of dawn broke through the stormy clouds, Oliver ventured out. The forest was unrecognizable. Branches were broken, the ground was waterlogged, and many animal homes were damaged. Flying low, Oliver searched for Johnny, Bella, and Max. He found Johnny shivering near a tree stump, his fur soaked and his whiskers drooping. "Oliver," Johnny whimpered, "you were right. My burrow is flooded, and I have nothing to eat." "Come with me," Oliver said kindly, leading Johnny to his oak tree where he had a dry, cozy corner and some spare food. Next, Oliver made his way to Bella's cave. The big bear was sitting outside, looking forlorn as water continued to stream from her cave. "Oliver, I should have listened to you," Bella admitted. "I don't know what to do now." "Follow me," Oliver urged. Despite her size, Bella carefully climbed to a dry hill nearby, where Oliver showed her a sheltered spot under the oak tree's large branches. Finally, Oliver searched for Max. The squirrel was clinging to a branch, his fur messy and his eyes wide with fear. "Oliver!" Max called out. "I'm so sorry I didn't listen. I don't have anywhere safe to go, and I have no food left." Oliver helped Max down from the tree and brought him to join Johnny and Bella. Together, the friends huddled under Oliver's great oak tree, where they were safe and warm. Oliver shared his food with them, reminding them gently, "This is why it's important to prepare for the future, even when the present feels comfortable." As the storm finally passed and the forest began to recover, Johnny, Bella, and Max made a promise to themselves and to Oliver. They would never again ignore the signs of trouble or the wise advice of a friend. Johnny started digging a stronger burrow and storing food. Bella began collecting berries and nuts before her hibernation. And Max, the once carefree squirrel, made a habit of gathering acorns and hiding them in safe places. Though the storm had been frightening, it taught them a valuable lesson about preparedness and the importance of listening to wisdom, even when it feels inconvenient. The forest returned to its peaceful beauty, and the animals grew closer as friends, grateful for the bond they shared and for Oliver's guidance. From that day on, whenever a new challenge appeared, the animals remembered the storm and the wise owl who had helped them weather it. And Oliver, ever watchful from his high perch, felt proud of his friends who had grown wiser and stronger together.